And there the problem stood until around 1860, when a great French neurologist by the name of Paul Broca reopened the issue of cortical localization and did it in the context of the neurology of language. What Broca did was the following. He encountered a patient who had an unusual language defect. These language defects are called aphasias. They're neurological defects in either articulation or expression of language, and they're usually due to strokes. And he encountered a very interesting patient who could understand language perfectly well, but who could not articulate language. He could not express himself in terms of language. This patient was really quite fascinating because it wasn't simply a difficulty with the motor aspects of speech. He couldn't, for example, he could whistle perfectly well, and he could even sing parts of songs. He just could not articulate language. Moreover, the language difficulty didn't just relate to speech. He couldn't write language. So he had completely lost the ability to express himself in terms of his linguistic capabilities, although he could understand language perfectly well. When this patient died and came to autopsy, Broca found something very interesting. He found that this patient had a lesion. Oh, I draw very badly here. Let me start again. He had a lesion that was located in the frontal lobes. He now found 7 other patients who had a similar defect. All of them had a difficulty in expressing language, could understand language perfectly well. When they died and he examined them at autopsy, he found that each of them had exactly the same defect. Moreover, in each case, the defect was always on the left side of the brain. This caused them to announce really one of the major principles of neural science, and that is that we speak with our left hemisphere. The ability to express language in a very precise way is localized to the left hemisphere of the brain. And he modestly entitled this area after himself as Broca's area, which it is still called.